Hello everyone, and join me as today we'll be looking at a very special pair of boots from Heinrich Dinkelacker from Germany. Coming up! How's it going everyone? Welcome back. New week, new episode, new video, new review. I was coming back from work today and I felt pretty nice. And I'm like, what should I review this week? So I went through my closet and all the shoes that I have, and I remember that I had this pair of Heinrich Dinkelacker from 2019, and it's a really special pair from a brand that you don't hear so much about, at least outside of Central Europe. So I thought, like, you know what? Let's do this and see how it holds up after such a long time. So here we are. It's a very special boot, as you will see. Heinrich Dinkelacker has a long history. It's originally from Germany, and the original owner retired like a decade ago. Then the company got taken over from people that were involved in Porsche, the car manufacturer, and eventually it got bought from another retailer, you would say, online hub for shoes, which is called Shoepassion. Who pretty much manages the brand since then. What's quite unique about these shoes is that they really go for, this Austro-Hungarian type of look and shoe, and you will see that in their lasts, in their shoes, in their shapes, which is definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but certainly an eye catcher for a good or a bad reason usually. So about this specific pair, 2 years ago they sent it to me for just a free review on my blog, and I've been wearing it since, a little more sparsely now for reasons I will talk about later. And it, after 2 years, I wanted to see how it looks like and how it still holds up. And this particular model, which is called the Buda Full Brogue C, it's actually from Horween Shell Cordovan in a really nice blue color, and it cost a colossal $1,355 US, including whatever taxes and anything else you might pay, which is, I think, $100 or $200 more than the retail price 2 years ago. It's a very, very expensive pair of shoes, which is pretty much handmade, as you will see. But what we're going to do today, of course, I'm gonna go, through all the things that I can talk about the shoes, even the box, as you will see, and some minor problems that I found before, and of course, availability, sizing advice, etc. So let's move on with the show. All right, my friends, let's quickly discuss the box and the unboxing experience in general, which is a mixed bag, let's say. First of all, the box, it's really sturdy, it's very strong, but it has a small issue. Well, first of all, first things first, you can see, of course, that everything is handwritten here, which is a really nice touch considering the price point. But when it arrived, the problem was that, as you can see, it's intact since then. It was a little scuffed around the edges and a little damaged, especially here. At least the shoes were intact, but for such a high-end product, they should be quite careful with how they ship and package their shoes. And as you can see inside, apart from obviously the shoes, what you get is like very heavy cotton bags that are very spacious and will fit your shoes great. These are little, those paper things that go to just reinforce the structure of the shoe while they're being shipped. And very interestingly, you get a leaflet that looks like if you need to repair the shoes, that you can send them back, and you just fill in your service card here, and you get a spare pair of nice laces. The problem is that it's in German, so well, it's not gonna be easy unless you know German. And that's about it. Now, let's move on with the shoes. And here they are. I haven't really done anything to them apart from give them just nice little conditioning, just to refresh the leather a bit. since they've been in storage for you know, a few months now, since I last used them. But I would say that for 2 years old, as you can see, they look pretty nice. The roll is great. I will talk about all the details. So first of all, I mean, what this is, so this model is called the Buda Full Brogue C, and it comes in calf and shell Cordovan. For those of you that don't know, I will leave in the description down below a really nice guide about different leathers. Shell Cordovan is pretty much, it's not exactly a leather, let's call it a leather, it's a membrane that comes from the horse's butt. So it has some very, very good high-end qualities. It's a very, you know, sought after leather, and it doesn't have any pores, it doesn't crease, instead it rolls, as you can very visibly see here. It's very, very durable. It's pretty much waterproof because it doesn't have any pores, and it will last you for a long time. Also, it comes, the leather here comes from the Horween Chicago tannery, which makes the most famous, consistent, and using best shell Cordovan in the world. So you know that you got something great in your hands. And this one is in like a nice navy color. What about the shoes themselves? I told you already what the model is. This is a full brogue, so it is what you say a wingtip design with a punched medallion, as you can see here, and the wingtip here, as well as on the back. Of course, it has this triple braided stitching. Think of it as Norwegian stitching, and which is actually massive, as you can see. It's very, very interesting to see, and my first experience with something like this. It's quite waterproof, of course. It has sort of like a contrast stitching that is sort of like a bit of brown honey color, which I actually like very much. I think it makes a really nice contrast, gentle with the rest of the shoe and the navy color. 4 eyelets, blind eyelets, and 2 spit hooks for sort of like an ankle boot, and a bit more structured design and feel here at the top of the shaft. Let's see, let's talk about the last and the shape, which is pretty much quite round, as you can see, especially at the bottom. And I'm not sure if it has a very specific name for this last. Doesn't matter in the end, it's quite round. And what you will see here is it's a JR sole, a double leather sole actually. So it's this is quite durable, as you can see. For like 2 years of wear, this is quite well in good condition. There are a lot of you know, nails here in the heel as well as here in the rest of the shoe, and it's not very tight in the waist, but it makes sense for this design. And the channel is of course hidden, so you don't see the stitching. Very nice soles, as you can see. The other pair as well, they've held up pretty well with minimal wear here at the middle point, and just most of the wear here at the front. And that's about it. And you can see here visibly how thick the double sole is. That's about the design itself. Inside, of course, you get here just the logo, and you get some handwritten details here at the side. Genuine leather, of course, lining, much more lightweight, let's say, tongue, which is nice. And it doesn't really hurt my ankles, so that's a good thing. At some points, maybe here, you can see that the color is being rubbed off around the edges of the lining because of the contrast in color, but that's quite normal and doesn't have any effect. Now, so when it comes to the stitching, most of it is rather consistent, as for my first experience with them. If I really look like at certain points, such as here, and of course some parts of the broguing here, it's quite sloppy. These shoes are, I think, completely handmade, so they're like hand welted, hand lasted, and I think even the sole is hand sewn. So there is an element of you know, inconsistency when it comes to handmade shoes. It's hard to see, but the broguing is not so even. At this price point, I mean, you shouldn't be disappointed if, you know, one or two of the brogues are not perfectly aligned or punched in, but it's still a thing for those of you that try to reach, let's say, perfection. Overall, these are good shoes. The leather has aged wonderfully. I mean, just look how the roll is after 2 years. We're a bit more substantial here at the flex point, but the rest of the shoe, I mean, look at it. It's smooth and pretty much feels rather new, right? That's not bad at all. And I would say this concludes the close-up, and it's certainly a very unique piece. I want to show you again the triple braid stitching, which goes all across the shoe and is very unique. It's a very trademark feature of Austro-Hungarian shoes, and I think something that you should experience for yourselves. Let's move on. And that was it. I hope you enjoyed the close-up and you got a nice view and idea of how the shoes are. But now it's time to talk about more important things. First of all, I would like to take sizing out of the way, because these shoes, as you can probably see, they are quite wide. In fact, the fitting is what we call it in Europe G fitting, or I would say about double E, maybe a bit more in US standards. So it is a wide shoe. What you should do is size down half from your regular UK, or 1.5 at least from your regular US in like shoes like Allen Edmonds, let's say. The reason that this is a bit more complicated for me is that these shoes are a UK 6.5, because a couple of years ago I was wearing the wrong size. I really thought that, you know, really snug is how it's supposed to fit, and in the process I ended up pretty much damaging my foot. So I thought I was wearing UK 7 and these are UK 6.5. However, now that my foot has evolved as well, my comfort is UK 8 and I would take these UK 7.5. So do not sacrifice your foot health for, you know, too much of a snug fit. These are quite generous, so I was still able to wear them. I'm still able to wear them if I really want to, but I keep it for more special occasions. But my advice is to always, you know, check with the retailer, but as a rule of thumb, size down half from what you usually take. Now let's talk about availability quickly. These are shoes that you will pretty much find only in the Shoepassion and Heinrich Dinkelacker website, and it's usually where I recommend you to look, because you might as well find in sales, and I'm not sure they go through other channels or any other local retailers, but that's the most common and the most easy channel for you to buy these shoes if you're interested. And I think they have actually some like retail stores and boutiques you can visit post-pandemic. And that's about availability. Now let's go talk about a few things: value, pricing, and who is it for and how do you wear them? It's a very difficult topic. This is a very special pair of shoes, and if you look at their lineup, it's definitely not my style. This is the closest to my style as it could get. I find that the lasts and shapes of the classic Austro-Hungarian style, they are way too chunky, and some of them, especially those Rio lasts, those Budapesters, they look like longboats. I can't. I only think of those wooden, you know, really big and chunky shoes. However, this model, the thing is that it might look very, very chunky and very bulky and very different and very contrasting. However, when you put it on your feet, as you will see, it is quite discreet and quite nice to look at, actually. And I really like the details and I really like looking them on my feet. However, this doesn't change the fact that this is for a very special type of customer, as you might have seen in the box, or the people that they promote them with in their website, in their Instagram, and other channels. So if you're the type that likes more flamboyant type of shoes, or this is just your style, chunkier and you know, with fancy welts and contrast stitches and generous lasts, then this might be worth your own consideration. When it comes to value though, I couldn't see myself spending that much for this model. First of all, because it's not my style. Second, because I would spend my money in some other brand probably. But at the same time, if this was the style that I would look for and the leather I would look for, this would probably be a no-brainer. The design elements are nice, the stitching is great, the triple braided stitching is phenomenal. There are a few nitpicks here and there, such as the broguing as I discussed, but overall it's a really good shoe. I mean, it's a good shoe for what it offers. Just think about what kind of wear and use you would get out of it. And if you just like the style, maybe you don't want Cordovan, so you could opt for the regular, more accessible, let's say, Budapester, same model with calfskin, which is $500–600 less. And that's about it. Interesting shoes. Due to the sizing thing, I might be looking to let them go. So if this is your size and you're interested, let me know in the comments down below. As of course, I want to hear your thoughts about this brand and the more different content I brought you today. This is a brand you don't usually see and you don't hear about, so I thought it was a great idea to make a video, especially after 2 years, and see how they hold up. And of course, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and a comment with your thoughts about the channel and the review in general. And I hope to see you in the next one as well. And before that, let's finish up with the customary bad dad joke of the week. So, I decided to give away all my dead batteries. They were free of charge. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. And with that bombshell, I will see you next week. Bye.